Good evening, sir.
All right, so we are pretty close to round one, which is tomorrow. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the time that we have allocated to ourselves. Um, it's going to be at Bear Library. We will try and meet about 15 minutes earlier, around 9:45 or so. And but prior to that, let's do a few uh, items to cross verify. I'm looking at the chat. So we have two images to download. You also have to download that MD5 WinMD5 uh, software, and we will need to verify if the files that we downloaded are have been downloaded correctly without any corruption happening. And how do we do that? We verify the checksum. Checksum is basically a fingerprint, is sort of a fingerprint that is generated by a file and its characteristics. So the files that we downloaded, we need to verify the checksum of each of uh, the images. Now I'd like one of you to sort of share your screen and show that the files are matching what we are supposed to download. And who wants to lead that event?
Sir, I can do that, but I do need to, however, join on my other computer. So could you give me a minute to do that?
Sure,
Okay.
sure. And while Cadet Mitra is about to show it, you can also download that application, that app, WinMD5, and validate at your end whether those files are correctly downloaded or not without any corruption. And the reason we need to do it is we are not going to unzip the files tonight. I'm going to give the password to you tomorrow morning. But so as not to waste any time, if the files are correct, we will not have any problems unzipping the files into the appropriate directories. Has anyone? Yeah. Has anyone got? Has anyone been able to go back and play around with your command line and look around Ubuntu's etc directory and other files? Did we get anyone take a shot at that?
I have not, sir. I'm having trouble loading the images on my computer.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's another alternative. Okay, that's fine. Mitra, are you ready?
Sir, I'm still trying to load it.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time, but.
And did you see that video, that 5-minute video that I had shared? Were you able to watch it?
I wasn't able to watch it, but I have my things that are downloading now. But they should be downloaded in a couple of minutes. But I'm just gonna join quickly.
How about the other cadets? Did anyone watch the video about files and directories and permissions?
I have not, sir.
I have, sir.
I didn't get to, sir. I had a lot going on this week.
All right. So after we verify the checksums, we are all going to watch that video. At least I'll try to play it at my end, but I don't think I'll be able to share the sound.
Is it fine? Can I show them how to actually use without having how to download the files without you verifying the checksum, or without having to you know how you need to install WinMD5 in order for you to have the password and all that? I just found that you can extract the file and it's gonna ask you for the password. You just type in the password, and then it works anyway.
You're saying it is extracting even if you give some wrong password?
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
That's yeah. Let me see if I can try it.
Sure. Share your screen and show me that.
Yeah. So try just I'm gonna see my screen right. Yeah, it should be right pretty soon. All right, but in that meantime, if I were to, for Linux Mint and Ubuntu, I did a little bit of Windows, and I found out that port 22 should always be blocked, and Open SSH should always also be blocked, as well as SSH. So I'm gonna go to my Google Docs. I'm gonna add that to the checklist that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is it? Okay, this one.
And for tomorrow, we need 2 computers, one for each image. Have you guys? I want you guys to sort of pick who's going to do which computer is going to be the main one for what image.
I can do Windows. My computer's pretty good running Windows.
Windows. Someone has to run the Linux Mint. So who has a fairly decent computer other than Bunting? How is your computer doing?
Oh, I can run it. It's been doing good.
Okay, so Windows on Cadet Mitra's computer and Linux Mint on Bunting's computer. That is what we are going with tomorrow. And Cheng, you can bring your computer as a backup, and same thing with you, Jacob. But we will keep your computers as backups. But make sure all computers have downloaded these 2 images, including the backup computer should also have these 2 images. So we'll make sure we'll make sure of that.
Yeah. So disable Open SSH and port 22 has been closed. All right, there we go. Mint is downloaded, so I'm just gonna extract that one real quick. So I just do this. So extract, right? And now I'm gonna open a checksum password. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Is it the password that says C? Okay, 61 E F D 13 E 1.
What password are you using?
I'm trying to put in the ones you gave. The ones checksum. Checksum passwords. Right.
Not,
that one. Or
so
is the extraction password the same as before?
So the checksum is not a password. It shouldn't accept it when you give that password. But that being said, can you download WinMD5?
Okay, I'll do that. I'm not too familiar with WinMD5.
It seems very simple. Let's work through it.
Okay.
So what I have given you is I have given you you have downloaded the file and I've given you a checksum. Download WinMD5 and work through it.
Okay. Well, that was fast. All right, like that, and that's all? Or do I need to extract it?
So is it in a zip file? You have to extract it.
I need to extract it then.
Mm-hmm.
Extract all. Extract. All right, there we go. Now it's extracted.
And while Cadet Mitra is doing this, all the other cadets, please do this at your end as well. Download the WinMD5, extract it from the zip file, and now, yeah, what are you doing now, Cadet Mitra?
I'm gonna go to my. Yeah, now I'm going to use. I'm gonna extract this now. The checksum, I believe, right? Let me go to.
First, go and launch the WinMD5 program.
Okay.
You have extracted it in your directory, right? So launch the program. Yep. No, I think this is the zip file. Cancel. Go to downloads. So you have figure out which one is not okay. Yeah, that is the one that you should open.
Yep.
Okay. Now select one of the files that you downloaded.
Okay.
Take the go to downloads.
I can do mint.
Mint. Mm-hmm. Now go to the chat, copy the checksum for the mint, and keep it ready.
Yep.
Just the checksum, not the entire Windows 11 thing.
Oh, I see that.
No spaces, do not copy spaces, or you can copy it into a text file. Just to make probably copied a space. So what the MD5 software is doing is it is calculating the fingerprint for the downloaded file, and we will see if it matches the one that the Cyber Patriot team gave us. If it matches, that means the file is 100% intact. It should work without problems tomorrow.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Now you take the MD5, paste it there, and verify. Click verify. It matched. So your mint file is correct. Let's do the same for the Windows file.
Okay.
So just browse again in your MD5 screen. You don't have to open the file.
Okay.
Here, browse. Select the Windows image. To download it. Yep, open.
Yeah, there you go.
So among the other cadets, between Bunting, Brugman, Ginu, and Shine, do you understand what we are doing here? Or is there anything that we can clarify for you guys? Feel free to ask a question if you want more explanation.
I understand what we're doing here, sir.
What about other Brugman?
Same for me, sir.
I'm sorry?
Same for me, sir.
So you understand what we are trying to do here? We are trying, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to do it at your end on the, like, if you have downloaded these files, have you been able to download the MD5 program and do the same?
Yes, sir.
Try and do that in the background. Yeah.
Are they gonna give us the password to extract the files like tomorrow or?
So I do have the password with me. They have already given me the password,
Okay.
but I don't want any accidents to happen.
Okay, I get that.
You will unzip the file, then someone will mistakenly
Open
load
it.
the image. We
Yeah.
don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I get that.
So as long as the checksum is matching, we can be confident that the file is good. It will work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And try to think. Let's see if I can.
All right, there we go. There we go.
All right, both the files match, so they are good. Bunting, I need a confirmation from you that your files are also that you have verified the checksum on your computer as well. And same thing with Brugman and Shang.
Sir, I'm doing this right now.
Okay, so keep doing that in the background. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to watch that YouTube video, this 5-minute video, and then we will walk through it. Now, what that video is going to do is it's fundamentals of file management, file permission management, and I think it explains very simply and very concise way a very complicated topic. So let's play it, and then we will slowly break it down.
Sure, should I present it through my laptop or?
Can you give it a shot? You might have to, like, when you share it, you might have to share the audio for your tab. If not,
Okay.
I will give it a shot.
Okay. Just tell me if you hear it. Oh, could everyone hear that? That was pretty loud.
No, I don't think we are able to hear the sound.
Okay.
It's wait, so stop sharing and share again, but this time with
Yes.
audio. I think you can select share with audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Share that tab again, and I think you'll have to say share with audio.
Sir, I checked my files and all of them are correct.
Awesome.
Same, sir.
Oh, there we
Same,
go.
sir. Ubuntu is good and server is good.
All right, so let's
Wait, no,
play
Mint
that.
is good. Mint is good, and yeah, that one's supposed to be.
Okay.
Last week. To be a competent Linux user, among other things, you also...
Could everyone hear that?
Yep, good hear
Okay.
that.
I'll restart it.
What's up, everybody? It's Travis here from Travis.media. So piggybacking on the Linux file system video that I put out last week, to be a competent Linux user, among other things, you also really need to understand file permissions. This was another area that I struggled in as a developer on my first Linux system trying to sudo everything. So in this video, I'm going to teach it to you in 5 minutes. And when you're done, I have a free cheat sheet for you below in the description that you can print out and hang by your desk. Let's get started. Every file and directory in your Linux system will have 3 permission groups. There's owner, which are permissions for who owns this file or directory, group, permissions that apply to the group assigned to the file or directory, and others, permissions that all the other users have. And you'll have to be diligent to protect this one. So if you're the owner, you get certain permissions. If you're the assigned group, you get certain permissions, and then everyone else gets permissions. Now I hate theory only, so let's open up an Ubuntu Linux terminal and run an ls with the L flag, which gives us more detail. And we see a directory named files and 2 files, main.py and myconfig.yaml. But we have all this other gibberish here that we usually gloss over. Well, don't. This info is very important for a secure system. So again, we have 3 types of permission groups: owner, group, and others. And each permission group gets 3 permissions: read, write, and execute. They can read the contents, write or modify the contents, or execute a file, or in the case of the directory, list the files in it. So in our example of the files directory above, we can see this. This gibberish here, drwx, rwx, r-x, means something. And we can break it down here. First, we have this D. That D simply stands for directory. If there's a dash here, it's a file. Next, we have rwx. This is for the owner. What can the owner do on this directory? Well, the owner, Ubuntu, as you'll see the first name here, can read, write, and execute on this directory. Then you have another set, which is also rwx, which corresponds to the group. Anyone in this group has these permissions: read, write, and execute on this directory. So the first name here is going to be the owner. The second name is going to be the group. And anyone in the Ubuntu group can read, write, and execute on this directory. And finally, what can all other users do? Well, they can read and execute only. They can't write. So when you're not given a privilege, you get this dash. So we get r-x. Read, can't write, but you can execute. Now let's look at an actual file instead of a directory. This is a bit trickier. So here in our gibberish, we can actually break it down to dash, rw dash, rw dash, r dash dash. So the dash means it's a file, not a directory. For our owner permissions, we get rw dash, meaning the owner can read, write, but not execute. For our group, we get the same thing: read, write, can't execute. And for all the other users, they can only read this file. So now that you know the permissions, how do you change them? Well, you have one of two commands. The first one we'll look at is chown. Some people say chown, but it means changing owner. So if we look back at our example, let's say we want to change the owner to Travis, which is another user on this Linux machine. And maybe we want to change the group to Travis Media. To change the owner, we just run chown, this command, with the new owner, Travis, in the file name or directory we want to apply this to. So if I go back to my terminal, I need to start out with sudo, and then the command chown, and then I want to change the owner to Travis, and then the file name, which is myconfig.yaml. And if I do an lsl again, you'll see I have a new owner for that file, Travis. And if I want to change the owner and the group, I can simply do Travis : whatever the group name is, Travis Media. So we can run that again, but this time instead of Travis, we'll do : Travis Media. This updates the group as well. So lsl. And you see here that I have the user of Travis and the group of Travis Media now. Now the other command you need to know is chmod, which stands for change mode. But in order to understand this, we got to look at the Linux numbering system. Now the way they do this is binary, but most of us understand it like this. A read gets 4, a write gets 2, and an execute gets 1. Now what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at our file permission here. If we go by that scoring system, then an RW would get 4 and 2, which is a 6 for the owner. The group also gets a 6, and everyone else gets a 4, because they just have read privileges. So this file permission is a 664. Now in order to change this to something else, like let's say we want to add the execute privilege for the owner and group, we simply run chmod, the number we want it to be, and then the file name. So chmod 774 file name. Let's try it. So this main.py, let's do sudo chmod, and we want to change it to 774, and then the file name, main.py. Run this. And now you see we have rwx, because we added the execute for the owner. We have rwx, which adds the execute for the group, and then the read stays the same. And in our example of a directory, we have rwx, which is going to be 7, rwx, which is going to be 7 also, and then rx, which is 4 plus 1 is 5. So this is a 775. Now let's say we want to remove the need to execute. We can run chmod 664 file name. And here are some common permissions. A baseline for your files should be 644. And a directory baseline can be 755, meaning the owner can read, write, and execute, and anyone in the group and everyone else can read and execute only. The reason why you want them to execute is to be able to list the files in that directory. And then finally, a key pair, like on AWS, when you create an EC2 instance, you want to lock down this key pair to a 400, which means the owner can only read and no one else can read, write, or execute. So take a few minutes to look around your file system, like cd, etc. You'll notice that most files have the owner and group as root, which is good. You want them to be protected and only available for a super user. But be sure to plan your own created files and directories accordingly and safely. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, consider doing so, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, there we go.
All right, that was quite a lot, but he packed a lot of information in one single video. Let's go back to basics. He talks about files having permissions. So any file can have 3 basic permissions. One is a for a human to read. Think about it, right? We go to a library. The library has a lot of books. There is a book at the beginning of the library. It's called the visitor's log. Then there are books within the library, right? What can we do with the visitor's log? We as an outsider, we can go and write our entry into the visitor log. That means that particular book is writable by anybody from outside. At the same time, the books that are there within on the shelf, nobody can write on those books, but we can read those books, but we cannot write anything on that. So the permissions are basically a way to control access to files for different types of users. So read is just you have the ability to read the contents. Write means you have the ability to modify the contents of that file. You can go and update the numbers. You can go and change the text within that file. And execute essentially applies to scripts, programs, files that can form an input to a particular program or a process. If there is an automation script, first somebody has to write that script. Then that script can be read by anyone, but not everyone will have the permission to execute that script. So that's why the permissions are broken down into R, W, and X. Read, write, and execute. Clear. We are clear up to this point. What are the basic rights that a user will have on a file? It's read, write, and execute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now what you take this basic permissions and you apply it across 3 different categories of users. One is the owner. I created a file. Normally in Unix, if I create a file, I create a text file saying mydiary.txt. I will have full permissions to read, write, and if I write it as a script, I can execute that file. So if I created the file as an owner, I will have the ability to read, write, and execute. Now, if there is another user on the computer who I do not know, who is not in any group that I know, I do not want that person to access to be able to read my file. So, whatever, if I created mydiary.txt. So my objective would be that I should have read, write, execute privileges on my file. And for someone outside, he should not have any privileges. That means his file permissions will be -- for read, write, execute. Now, on the other hand, I create a README file that I want everyone to read, but only I should be able to modify it. And maybe, if I'm the IT administrator, I want my fellow admins to be able to write to that file as well. So in that case, what I will say is, I am the owner of the file. I should be able to read, write, execute on that file. Anyone who is a fellow administrator should also be able to read, write, and execute. But outside of the administrators, a normal user should only be able to read. They cannot write or execute that file. So in that case, the permission set will read like RWX for owner, followed by another RWX for the group of administrators, followed by R -- for the common user. So that's how you read that part of that line of data that comes back. If you guys have Ubuntu images, you can try and start it up. Meanwhile, let me try and get a Linux prompt. I'm unable to launch the Ubuntu, but let me bring out one of my AWS servers and I will show you how to execute these commands. So if you are able to launch Ubuntu at your end, please do so.
Sir, I was able to launch Ubuntu.
All right, I'm going to light sail.
Should I share my screen for Ubuntu? Or?
Let me do a few quick things at my end.
Okay.
And we will take it from there.
Yes, sir.
So, and again, these are all very basic commands that I would like to share screen. Windows, yep. You can see the terminal screen, right? So this is basically to give you a background, this particular terminal is actually for an AWS Lightsail server. I'm actually running a couple of websites on this particular web server. So I'll start with clear. Now first, I don't know what my username is. Anyone know what that command is if I have to figure out who I am? It's simple. It's who am I? So I am logged in as the user Bitnami, BITNAMI. So anytime you want to figure out what the username is, you type who am I. Now where am I? Which directory am I in? That command is pwd. So essentially I am in a directory called /home/bitnami. So now going back to what was displayed in the video, the first command he uses is the list command with the flag -l, ls-l. It essentially tells there are different files. Now I want you guys to interpret the results here. What can someone interpret what this particular line says? Number one, you take this first set of 7 characters. If the first character is a dash, it is a file. If it is a D, it is a directory. Let me go back to one. Now I went back to one directory above. So I am right now in home directory. If I do the same thing, ls-l, it tells me that in the home directory, there is only one object, which is Bitnami, and it is a directory because it starts with a D. Now this version of Linux on AWS actually tells you by the color what it is. Like if it is something bluish, it is a directory. It is something white, it is a file. Something green, it is an executable script. So now I have to go into the directory. I have to get into this directory Bitnami. What is my command? What do I
CD.
do? CD and Bitnami. Now here's a trick. Assume there are like 60 files in it. I don't have to type the entire command. I can say CD, type the first letter, and hit tab. It will automatically brings up the Bitnami directory. And it shows that I am under home/Bitnami. Let's do the same thing. Again, ls-l. Again, I have this bunch of files. So the first file is band_ip.txt. It's a text file with a list of IPs under it. Now, what is other information that we have in this line? The dash tells you it is a file. For the Bitnami user, I can do what?
You can read and write it.
Read and write it. I cannot execute anything because it is not an executable file. Anyone in my group can also read and write it. And anyone outside, like for all the entire world, like all the other users, all the other processes on the web server can read the file. They cannot write onto that file. And it is owned by the file Bitnami and belongs to the group Bitnami. And this is the size of the file. And this is the date it was created, September 6th, 9:11 p.m. was when it was created, and this is the file name. Now, how do I see what is inside the file? What is the command for me? How do I see what is inside bandips.txt? Now,
Is it ls minus lrt, or is it vi space file name?
Good. So ls is only to list the contents of the directory. You cannot list the contents of the file.
Is it
VI is basically an editor. You can use the editor to view the contents of the file, but the easiest way is cat. So I can type cat and I will type the first letter. Now there are 4 files in there that starts with a B. So I don't have to type band ips.txt. I mean, of course, if I say cat space B and hit tab, it tells me, okay, these are the files. But what I can do is B. Then I type another one. Then it will prompt me, okay, this file exists. Then if I type I and hit tab, cat Vietnam IP. Okay, maybe that works only for CD, but hold on. Sorry, not Vietnam IPs, it is band IPs, right? Cat B A, yeah, BA, and if I hit tab, band IPs. Now if I say cat band IPs.txt, shows me a whole bunch of IP addresses. Now it scrolled up. It scrolled up quite a bit. Now what I need to do is I only need to see it page by page. Instead of cat, I can use more band ips.txt. So it shows me the first page, and below it will show me more 38%. If I hit the space bar, it will show me page 2. I hit the space bar, it will show me the full. So cat more, and at the end you can just say Control C and you'll get out of it. So let's go back and see again ls minus l. I want to see what is there in update. So look at this last line. So this is another file. It is in green. The extension is .sh. .sh means it's a shell script. And that means it's a script that I can execute. And how do I know I can execute? You just look at the first 7 characters. The dash tells me it is a file, not a directory. As an owner, I can read, write, and execute. I want folks in the, not as an owner, meaning the file is owned by root, the root user, and belongs to the group root. The root user can read, write, and execute. Anyone in the group can only read and execute. They cannot write into it. And anyone outside of the group, meaning everyone else, the general public, can also read and execute this particular file. Now, let me see if I can execute this. I'm logged in as user Bitnami. So to execute a script file, shell file, I have to put / and the script file name. And it did execute. It added the band IPs to the web server list automatically. Now, again, let's again do that. Now, what I want to do is I do not want this file to be executed by the Bitnami user, by the general public. So if -rwx, r-x, r-x is the current permissions, if I don't want to make this executable by anyone other than root, what should this particular string of letters be adjusted as? I'm going to pick on Cadet Cheng. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
No, think about it. the last set of 3 characters, the first 3 are owner, second 3 are group, last 3 are public user.
Okay.
Now, if I don't want the public user to execute this file, what should this permission set read as?
Or dash dash.
R dash dash is correct. So I need to make sure that I change the permissions so that it will be RWX, R dash X, and R dash dash. Now, if I don't want it to be read, I have to say dash dash dash, right? But how do I set the permission? I set the permission by using the command chmod. Now, there is a formula, right, to set R dash dash. There are values for each privilege. A read is worth 4 points. A write is worth 2 points, and execute is worth 1 point. So what would you calculate this as for the owner of the file? He has read, write, execute. What would you calculate the score? Get it, Gino?
7, sir.
And followed by, I'm not changing this at all.
5, sir.
Yep. And this, as we said, we are going to do R dash dash. And the score would be?
0.
No.
Because they still have the R.
Yeah, and the value of R is 4. Right? If I calculate R dash dash, that means 4, 0, 0. Total is 4. Right? So if the permission that I need to do is chmod for the owner, read, write X 4, 2, 1, that is 7. For the group, it is read dash X. That means 4, 0, and 1, which is 5. And for the general public, it should be what? R dash dash, which is 4, 0, and 0. And it may not work because I am not the owner, but I'll probably have to do the sudo. If I say chmod 754, it will say it is not permitted. So let me do a sudo. Don't know if I have but let's see. Okay. So I was able to use the sudo command to get the additional privileges. And I said chmod 754. Now, if I do an ls minus l, what would those first 7 characters say? Dash, because it is a file. And then followed by what would be the first 3? It is 754. It is R, W, and X. For the middle, it will be R dash X. And for the last set, it is R dash dash. Oh. And this is what we are looking at. RWX, R dash X, R dash dash. Okay. Now here's a small problem, not a small assignment. I want to make this script file read, write, executable by all the 3: owner, user, the owner, group, and the general public. Everyone else. So what would be my command? What is the permission score that I will do?
So would you? Sorry.
Gino, go ahead.
Almost the same as last time, just the numbers being 777 to give all 3 permissions to everyone.
Correct. That's pretty much correct. And let's verify that. And they have RWX, RWX, RWX.
Sir, could you also do like chmod space plus X?
Yeah, you could do that. It's a little bit complicated. What are we doing? Let's do this. So now the other way of doing it is chmod owner group world, I think. What is the letter for owner group? And is it W?
Like world.
World?
I
Yeah,
think
CH world. Minus, I want to remove the permissions for right, and I want to remove the right, and let's see this. Nope. I know that I find that a little bit complicated. I find the numbering system a little bit easier, but you could definitely try that U plus WG. You know that it gets a little bit more complicated with in that way. But as you get comfortable with this, then we can start exploring that other command where we specify by user, group, add, remove. For now, I think this would be a good way to change permissions. So let's do it again. Did I leave it the way I wanted it to be? Nope, I didn't. So sudo chmod. I need 7, 5, 5. Right. Now, let's see what else can we do here. I can create a file. I can create a file just by using the command touch. It will just create an empty file. Right. So let's see what is in here. ls minus l. Did it create? No. Oh, it did create. So I created a file called mydiary.txt. And I don't know why the October. So the file size is 0 because it is an empty file. October 24th, it was created right now. And the username is Bitnami, group is Bitnami. It is read and writable only by me, but my group can only read and anyone else can only read. I can lock it down because I don't want anyone else to read this. It's a sudo chmod. Would be 600 mydiary.txt. And now I have sort of locked it down. So this is in a nutshell what the chmod command does. You can manipulate the permissions read, write, execute across 3 different types of groups: owner, group, and others, which is the world, everyone else, public. So those 3 sets you can modify the commands. Now, typically we do this through a graphical user interface in Windows, and sometimes you can do it in Ubuntu as well. Essentially, whatever we are doing through a graphical user interface, this is like a direct command line interface where we are modifying the files. Just like chmod, I can also do, I can change owner. Let me, if I have to, what would be the number if I have to make it readable and writable by everyone? User, by the owner, group, as well as world. Correct, Jenna?
666.
666 mydiary.txt and that's exactly what we got. If you have a file in which you have passwords or something stored, you obviously do not want anyone in your group to read, or you do not want anyone in the world to read. So the right, just assume mydiary.txt has passwords in it, means I should be able to read. Everyone else in my group should not be able to read. Everyone in the world / others / the general public should not be able to read. So, and this will set it to read writable only by me. All right, now that I've created this file, I want to delete this file. What is the command for delete?
Is it rm minus f?
Rm minus f. But let's try it just with rm and see what happens. Rm is short for remove. Remove the file. I think it did work, I guess. Is it? Yeah. Oh, no. Yep, it did remove. Minus f is helpful when you are trying to force it. Now, there's another command which is actually quite powerful. Should be very careful when you use it. Is if you are trying to delete a directory, you can use the rm command to delete a directory. The directory may have subdirectories in it, multiple levels of directories in it, multiple files. When you use rm and you try to delete a directory, it will prevent you from deleting it. It will ask you that particular folder has subdirectories, recursive directories, and everything. So the command to use in that case is rm -rf and the directory name. F means it is forcing, and R means it is a recursive, meaning it will go into the directory, it will go into subdirectories, all the levels of directories, and start deleting files across all the branches within the directory tree structure. Say, for example, you have a user directory in that he has multiple subdirectories with MP3 files, videos. Then you can use an rm minus rf for the for that content, and it will remove it from the system. So how is everyone doing? Have you been able to follow through all these different commands? If you have you need some explaining, ask that question so that we can try and clarify your doubts.
I understand, sir.
I understand, sir. I understand, sir. I understand, sir.
I understand, sir.
Excellent. So let me see if there's some other useful commands. We did pwd, chd, change user, su is switch user, sudo is supervisor command. Now there are some files that we need to go and explore. You can still see the command line, right? So where am I currently? Let's see. Now, what is my path? I'm in home/bitnami. If I do cd/, I will go to the root directory. And let's see what I have here. There you go. So I have so many directories. I got a bitnami, boot, dev, etc, home, media, mount, temp, user, var. Whether I shared that this is basically a web server that is hosting websites. All the web server files are stored. Hold on, in this, it is actually in a different place, but usually they will be stored under var. But on this server, they are stored in a different place. Let's see what is there in var. Yeah, in this web server, it is not in var, but let's go and explore some files under etc. cd, you should go into the etc directory. So under etc directory, do the same thing, ls minus -l, and you'll see this whole bunch of files within the etc directory. Starting from, there are so many of them. A lot of these are configuration files. For example, cron is basically where you have daily tasks that are executed either daily, monthly, hourly, weekly, or yearly. These are tasks that you insert so that they are automatically done. You will also have configuration files, like these are anything that ends with .conf is a configuration file. We have some files. Let's see, gshadow host.config, host name, login.depths, logrotate.conf. The file, I think, one of the things that we should look up is we should take a look at this particular file, passwd, which is the passwd file. I'm not sure if I'll be able to open it or not, but before we go there, we have folders with program configuration files. This rc0.d to rc5, rc6, these are sort of boot up configurations, different levels of boot up configurations. Then there is syscontrol.conf. Let's try exploring some of them. Cat. All right. So this cat passwd, this passwd essentially has the list of users and information about those users. For example, root is a user. The user ID is 0, and it usually operates under the root directory bin bash. Till now, we have been logged in as Bitnami, right? Bitnami as a user is here. Bitnami as a user belongs to his own group called Bitnami. He has a user ID of 1000. The home directory is home/Bitnami. So like that, some of the programs will have their own usernames. For example, MySQL is a database, is a process, but that runs as a database user. So MySQL has, in this server, there are no groups. So everyone has either X, and both the user ID and the group ID are the same. But in Ubuntu, you will find it different. So in this case, MySQL is a user with 1002 UID, and it operates out of the home directory, home/MySQL. Now, one way to figure out which users are currently running, there is a command called top. If I hit top, this is what you see the screen. So what top is telling me is in the first line, it tells me that this web server has been up 275 days. It's been operating for 275 days without being shut down or rebooted. And load averages essentially tells me what, how busy the system is. The last 10 minutes, last 1 hour, and I believe this is last 24 hours or something like that. Usually, if the load average is above 1, that means your server is very busy. It should be less than 1. Something like this, 0.08, 0.07, it means 7% busy, 8% busy. That means it's a good sign, meaning your server is not being stressed. You'll also see information like, okay, what are all the tasks running? And here you will see what exactly is running on this web server. It will say if there's a particular process 1096, and this is the process that is running, MySQL D in this case being run by the user MySQL. And it will tell you how much of CPU that particular process is using, how much memory that particular process is using. So one of the things that you could do during your troubleshooting is you can hit top and try and check if any of these processes looks suspicious. Like you look at the last section where that command is and try and identify if there's something that shouldn't be running. Again, it's a bit difficult to understand what is a legit program versus which one is not. In this case, for example, all of these are legitimate programs, but honestly, I really cannot tell anything other than MySQL D, HTTPD, PHP. These are all the correct programs required to run the website. Now, to get out of top, I will say Control C, and I get out of it. Let's again take a look at some of the files around. Let's see login.defs. Sudo cat login.defs. All right, in login.defs, there's a lot of information in login.dev. So let me do this. I will say more sudo more login.devs. This is my first page, and there's a lot that you can read within login.dev. Like here, it is telling me that I can use commands like user add, user del, user mod to add users, delete them, or modify them. Let me go to, and a lot of, if it starts with a hash, it is a comment. It is not any value that the server is using. So in this case, mail directory has been defined as var/mail. Let me go to page 2. Fail log enabled. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that is of interest to me. So login, enable logging of successful logins. I don't need to know successful logins, but somewhere it should say enable display of unnamed. So see this, enable login and display of failed logins. Fail log enable is equal to yes. That's a good value to have. So go through login.devs and change the ones that you think should be ideal for us to get the information that we want. Page number 3, really not much that have interest. Page number 4, page number 5. This is an interesting one, right? On page number 5, I see this. Password max days, minimum days, warning age. These values definitely require changing. So login.devs is a file you should explore, and directly you can change it here. Password agent control. So everything is self-explanatory. You can actually read it and update the value. And how will you update the value? You'll use the gedit program to edit the file in Unix and change it up. Let's see what else I can find. Login retries, number of retries before, I guess it is logged out, login timeout. So these are all good values. If something is showing unlimited retries, I think you should define it to a specific value. Default home, user groups enabled, console groups. Nothing I can see here. That encryption method is, I guess, needs to be something. And there are a whole lot other values that you could probably define. Let me exit out of this. So ls, so login.devs is one file. Let's see how many other files are there. If I had to look at only files, let me do star.def star. There's only one file with defs in it. Let's see how many configuration files I have. Star.conf will give me different configuration files. Let me try and see what is there in logrotate.conf. More logrotate.conf.
There should be add this to a checklist.
I mean, ideally, yes. I mean, again, right, there is no right or wrong answer. Whatever files that you think you think maybe having values that you can define, you should go and explore those files. Yes, so in this case, logrotate tells me, tells me that I'm rotating my files weekly. I'm keeping 4 weeks worth of log files. It will create a new empty file, specific things. And this is probably the package name that is there. So so again, anytime I want to go back to a previous command, I just hit the up arrow or the backs. If I hit the up arrow, I can scroll through all the history of commands. I don't have to type the commands again. So I'm just hitting the up arrow. Nope, not this one. I need to do ls-l star.conf tells me there are different files. Let's see what else. Let's see what is in syscontrol.conf. Sudo more syscontrol.conf. So it is telling me kernel domain name, blah, 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 blah. I don't think there's anything defined. There is nothing defined there. Again, nothing there. So let's see. ls. What were the other things? So you already looked at etc password file. So another thing, right? In etc password, it's an easy way for you to understand how many users are there in the system, what groups they belong to. You can do it through the GUI, but this is another way to verify in one shot. These are the users that exist on the system. Again, let's take a look at it. Remember, general human users will start after 1000. After 1000. Everything prior to that are system users. So when tomorrow you have a list of users, you can just look at this file, cat pass wd, and all the users with more user ID more than 1000 are human users, and you can verify against that who are the people that you need to delete, remove, etc. So etc password is one. There is another file called, let's see, ls-l shadow. There is a file called ls-. So let's see what is there. Sudo cat shadow. Sudo cat sh. Sudo cat sh. Okay. So what the shadow file tells us is like these are the users and there are passwords defined. Obviously, you won't be able to read the passwords, but it's another way to verify. The users have an encrypted password, etc. Now, usually you can also read other settings because this is the web server of mine. It has the default values, but in your Linux machine, you will get other information like what is the max password, age, number of days that password will be valid. So all the additional password values, you'll find them defined here. In this case, I do not have an expiry for mass password age for this web server, so it is showing 9999 for all the users. I actually use a encrypted key to log in, so I don't have to care about a password for this web server. So login.devs we already covered. Let's see, there's another file. Let's see. ls -l. G shadow. Chrome file GAI group. Let's see what is there in group. Cat group. All right. So more group. So there's another file called group. If you look into it, it will tell you again group information. There is really not much here, but I would encourage you to check the files. As I said, passwd, group, login.devs, shadow. Another file would be I'm trying to see. All right, so that's I think this is pretty much what I have. Let me see, is there a pam.d that they're asking us to check? Okay, let's see pam.d. Let's sudo cat. Yeah, so in the PAM under etc under PAM.d, there are a whole bunch of configuration files. Again, probably too much to cover at this time, but going forward, we'll try and explore what does each of these files contain. Again, maybe look up some queries on the web to see for Cyber Patriot, is there any of, do we need to pay attention to any of these files within the /etc/pam.d directory. We are pretty much about an hour. I'll give you guys a 5-minute break. We'll meet at around 6:45. Last 45 minutes of today's session, I want you to, we will go over some of the Linux commands that will make our job easier. So let's meet at 6:45. All right, I'm back. Is everyone here?
Yes, sir.
All right, so
Yes, sir.
the next 30 minutes or so that we have, we'll go over some more basic Linux commands. And Cadet Mitra, if you want to bring up your Ubuntu instance, I will tell you the commands to execute.
Sir, it's starting up now.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Yeah, start as soon as it comes up. Start sharing your screen. Bring up the command terminal.
Yes, sir.
And I'll post some of the commands in the chat. And those who are having the checklist, make a note of some of these commands. Who knows, which one might be useful for you, when you run into it. So hold on. I think if you're trying to open the training ground image, it may stop working.
Oh, I see my problem. Like it's just showing my MAC address, and I'll share my screen. Actually, I'll show you what I mean.
If it works, share your screen. If it doesn't work, that can be a reason that the images may have expired.
All right, sure. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, good.
So it just shows my MAC address. If I resume it, let me show you what I see. Max. Yeah, it just shows that.
So it's not working, right?
No.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other Ubuntu image?
Sir, my virtual machine isn't working anyways. No, like it isn't working too. It says like there's no boot image, there's no boot media.
Yeah, I think that's like the majority of people have like different reasons why.
Okay,
I think it's because it just stopped.
Let's do this, right? Go to Ubuntu. So it's not working. So let's see if we can get a download Ubuntu. Okay, go to this link. We may not have enough time to do this, but go to this link and download the ISO file. I think it'll ask you for an email address and other things.
Sure.
But if it is taking too much time, it's a 6 gig file. So stop the other one. You can stop the other download so that. So what we are doing now, we are downloading the ISO file for the Ubuntu operating system. You save it in your Cyber Patriot folder, and you can use VMware, and you say create a. You can create a new virtual machine, and in that you can give this particular ISO file as a source. But you have to wait for that full file to download, and then it will boot up Ubuntu, as a fresh clean image, and you can play it.
No, give me a second. All right, sorry, it's my dog.
Okay.
Okay, so once this is downloaded, I click create a new virtual machine, right, and then I open it like that, or
Yeah, it should work. It should work.
Okay.
So,
I just kind
and same thing, others try and download that Ubuntu image. We'll see how long is it going to take? 6 minutes?
it's just 6 minutes left.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
So when we have the image, the first thing I would like you guys to do is read that file, read that etc password file, and tell me how many users are there. Same thing, read the etc group, or what is groups, and tell me what is inside. Interpret what is inside there. Login.defs. Then I think these three are something. Then we can also start using commands to add users, delete users. There are a bunch of instead of doing it through the GUI, you can use these commands to either these two will work or these two will work. We will test them out. Almost there.
Yes, sir. Right, there we go.
No, yes, no, yep. I know we are cramming quite a lot at the very last minute, but at least you won't be a stranger to it tomorrow when you're trying to look it up. Use the second option, installer disk image. Enable.
Oh, I see. Right, there we go. Next. All right. Do I need news? No.
Yeah, define it something easy, simple.
Okay.
Give a simple password.
Okay. There we go. That's fine. This size, gigabytes. That's fine. There you go. This one's. Sir, what time are we meeting tomorrow, and where are we meeting?
So we are meeting at the Bear Library in Bear, Delaware. We will meet there at 9:45.
Yes, sir.
9:45 a.m. The
Yes, sir.
time we have to run the competition is between 10 and 2.
Yes, sir. That's fine. Question?
Go ahead, Karan. Cheng, you had a question?
So what's the uniform of the day for tomorrow? Is it blues or is it like PT? Is it like PT uniforms?
Wear the PT uniform, tan t-shirts. Let's be comfortable.
Thank you, sir.
But make sure it's a cap t-shirt. Gino?
Sir, I don't have a cap t-shirt, like specifically, but I do have tan t-shirts. Is that okay?
And that's okay.
What is this?
Maybe some things will fail. So what is that? Did it get stuck somewhere?
I'm not I'm pressing enter or something. It's not working.
Okay, so that's probably a problem then. So the same I don't know if you're able to get this working or not, but anyway, we are about an hour and a half into this session. You could also try the same thing by looking up a Linux Mint ISO image. If you go to, let me see if I can search for that. We're not going to install it right now because we really don't have much time. Linux Mint. Okay, there seems to be a site called linuxmint.com. We're going to do something called the Mate edition. So we could also download a similar ISO image from linuxmint.com and try to see if we can create a VM. But I don't think we have enough time today to do all that. That being said, let me post a few more commands. The first set that I posted there are the user what do you call the? I'm trying to see. Where did that file go? User manipulation commands. Then you have a bunch of commands that are related to files. And those commands are this. And I think all of this is already given in one of those checklists that I shared. Then, yeah, between the user commands and this file commands, you should be able to. There's another command called gpaswd. Essentially, what it does is you can create a user and assign it to a group. You can also delete a user from a particular group. So, sorry, not create. Sorry, you are adding a user to an existing group, and you are deleting a user from an existing group. You can do it through GUI, but these are the commands to do it from the command line. The last two commands I would like you to look up is something. There is a find command and there is a locate command. Each can be used separately to locate specific files. So you're trying to search for files created by some user by the name Luthor. You can use a find command with a certain flags to search for, return only the list of files created by that particular user. So there's a lot of experimentation that needs to be done with these commands that you can use tomorrow when you are tackling the Linux image. That being said, I think I'm sort of done for the day. If you guys have some bandwidth tonight, try and download the Linux Mint image. See if you can create a virtual machine on your machine so that we can use it for future sessions for practicing these commands.
Yes, sir.
Any questions before we wrap up?
No, sir.
Awesome, cool. I hope today was useful for at least some of those permissions and file investigation stuff. So please do practice, and everyone have a good night.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good night.
You have a great night, sir.
Night, sir.
Have a good week.